Well, hey there and welcome back. I'm Matt Barentine in the kitchen with Lucy Greer, and she's working on some cookies. I didn't want to mispronounce the name of these cookies.
These are Murs Cookies.
Muz.
That is my great-grandmother. They called her Ma, and her husband, his name is Barton, which is who I'm named after. That's my middle name, and they called him Bank. So Bank and Ma were my dad's grandparents, and they passed away before I was born, so I didn't know them, but I love to hear stories about him, I guess, because he's my namesake, and she just sounded like just such a wonderful lady. So I'd always liked these cookies when my aunts would make them growing up, and I was like, let me try to make those and share it with everybody.
Well, you may never have met her, but I guarantee she would be super proud to see you keeping her recipes alive and doing all this. This is really cool. And these are the cookies. I see she's got them plated up all nice and neatly here. I'm gonna kind of mess that up.
Yeah, go ahead and taste some of those. They're real.
It's gonna be very loud, as I mean, but.
Good. I'm glad that you like them, and it's simple to make. So all we did in this bowl is we took 1 stick of butter at room temp, we mixed it up with a cup of brown sugar, and then we added 1 egg, and I just added a teaspoon of vanilla. And in this bowl we have our dry ingredients, which was 1 3/4 cup of flour, and I added half a teaspoon of baking soda and just a pinch of salt. And of course the baking soda or baking powder in any recipe is a leavening agent, which is going to make your cookies or whatever you're baking rise, and half a teaspoon is not a lot. So you can see, these are real thin cookies. I have this wax paper out right now, because once we get this dough mixed up, we are going to split it in two and make logs out of it and put it in this wax paper. And then we put it in the freezer, and after it freezes, then you just pull it out and you slice them really thin and go ahead and bake them. So it's great to kind of have dough like this. You could store it in a Ziploc bag and then just pull it out whenever you want to.
You have it all ready to go. That's a really good idea. Sometimes kind of like the icebox cookies.
Yeah, that's exactly like. Or if you ever make shortbread, you can do that with shortbread too. Put it in a log and slice it just as you need it. So I mentioned earlier that the last ingredient we have here is going to be a cup of chopped nuts, and pecans is what my family always used, but I'm sure you could substitute any nut that you wanted, and these are just unsalted pecans. And when I got them home, I just put them out on a cutting board and got a knife and chopped them up just a little bit more fine, because as you can see, the cookies are just so small, so you kind of want a small piece, or you could toss them in the food processor or something. So they go in, and that's the last ingredient. So a lot of this stuff, you probably just have on hand, which is nice, and it doesn't take too long to get it mixed together.
And now what's the next step? You're going to get this on the paper?
So now that that's done, we are going to just split the dough. So I kind of just, do like this and just kind of eyeball it.
You're going to split in half there? Okay.
So we're going to split it in half, and we're just going to put it, just kind of, get it in a ball first. And then you kind of just can shape it with your hands. And this is wax paper. You could also use plastic wrap or aluminum foil. Wax paper is what the recipe said, and however old this recipe is, so that's what I'm going to do. So just kind of even it out with your hands, and I asked my dad, I was like, is this the shape that they always were? Because, when you do something like this, you can kind of fold it back and forth like this and make it more of a cylinder.
Right.
So, the cookies would be round when you cut them. But what happens while they're flat on the bottom, if you don't do that, then the bottom is obviously going to be flat.
Yeah.
So if you want to make them round, then all you would do is, go kind of back and forth and make everything real kind of smooth.
Well, I know you're going for the look, but trust me, folks, that doesn't really matter. They taste really good.
You like them?
I love it. I didn't think about this, and I was wearing a microphone that.
They're crunchy. Yeah, they're really good. They're really different. My neighbor Jinx, she always has during Christmas a cookie swap, and they make, I think, like I don't know, 15 or 20 cookies, and so I really need to give her this recipe for next year, because it's always fun to, you know, just kind of have something new that you're not familiar with.
All right, well, that's Lucy Greer. We're in the kitchen. When we come back, she's going to show you how these look after they come out of the oven. We'll be right back.
I'm still